Welcome to Extra Scottish. I'm Callum Blackstock, and as you know, I'm Scottish. Alright, today it's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, starring Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman. So, this is the story, loosely based on certain realities, of Ma Rainey, who was known as the mother of the blues, and the gist of what happens here in the movie, which is adapted from the play, much like many of the movies this year seem to be that are making some noise with the Oscars and the other award shows. So with this, basically Ma's come to a recording studio. She's going to record a record, and most of the movie revolves around Levy, played by Chadwick Boseman, who is in her band, but he wants to go solo and do his own thing. And when they're down in their room, which is down in the basement, discussing with the other band members, he's talking about how he wants to break away and doesn't feel valued, and discussions continue throughout the movie. The realities of his life come out slowly as we go along. At the start, you see him as this sort of juvenile, excitable young man, but then the truth about his background begins to come out, and his story takes a different turn. And meanwhile, Ma Rainey's upstairs, making it real tough for these record producers, because she is well aware that they are definitely just using her for the record. They don't really care about her, so she's milking that as much as she can, because she sees the reality of these white record producers just wanting to take the black music and use it to their own benefit. Themes: power struggle, self-preservation, injustice. So the power struggle here is, firstly, there's with Ma Rainey and with the record label. There's with Ma Rainey and Levy. There's with Levy and the other band members. There's just power struggles all over. The injustice is, of course, the terrible treatment of black Americans, both then and of course now, unfortunately. So it's great that that's coming to light here in this form of artistry, and it shows the relevance of that story today, and that holds true. And then self-preservation, that's really the story as well here, in the unfortunate reality of what happens in the world today, and indeed back then. Having to look after yourself, and that's Levy. He's got to look after himself. Ma Rainey, in her own way, is having to look after herself as well. So that's the main themes here. Best line. So the best line comes from one of the band members, Cutler, when he's arguing with Levy about how Levy spent all his money on a pair of shoes because he wants to look nice in his shoes. And they obviously, these guys are a little older, they think that's ridiculous. They want to save up their money. They don't understand how he could take his paycheck and spend it on a pair of shoes. So at one point during the argument, Cutler says, "Any man who takes a whole week's pay and puts it on some shoes," you understand what I mean? "What you walking around with on the ground with is a fool." And I don't mind telling him. I thought it was a real great little line. What you're walking around with, on the ground with. I thought it was kind of cool. Best scene, well, there's just some great scenes here throughout the movie. And I think because it's a play, and what I'm seeing with some of the movies that are being made at the moment that are coming from plays, is the thing about play, you go and see a play, it's sometimes almost like a one and done. If you go Broadway or off Broadway or wherever you go, it's like you go there for the experience, and you don't mind a talkative thing because you're really seeing the performance. You don't need like some action figure hero coming flying in. It can still be great and entertaining because of dialogue, and that's what this movie is about, and that's what it has in spades. So there are lots of great scenes. One of the scenes that I thought was fantastic is when Chadwick Boseman finally after he's had his cheerful thing, really reveals the backstory about how his mother got abused and his father slowly waited and then took his revenge on these white men that abused his mother, and then unfortunately he dies from that. But the way he told it was just powerful. But other than that, the sort of somewhat climactic scene in the movie where Chadwick Boseman is crying out to God about, well, why didn't, linking in with that last scene, why didn't you protect my mother? And just the emotions that were coming out of him, you could feel it. You could just completely feel what he was going through. It was just some epic acting. It was fantastic. That was definitely the best scene. Best performance, well, there's just fantastic performance across the board here, the whole ensemble. I think Viola Davis was just almost, I mean, she has a knack for this. She just seemed unrecognizable to like some of the other roles you've seen her in. And it was just fantastic. She really embodied the character and you really felt that she was Ma Rainey. And, but of course, Chadwick Boseman, and he is going to win the Oscar for best performance. Or for Best Actor, most certainly, hands down. I had watched earlier The Father with Anthony Hopkins, and I loved it. And I thought, wow, man, this isn't going to be beaten. This is fantastic. Then I watched this. He's going to win it. It's his swan song. He's incredible in this. This is really the performance that we should remember him by. We understand that we're going to remember him as T'Challa and with the Black Panther, but really this is his power moment. This was incredible. Maybe's I, maybe's nah. Well, as I alluded to with everything I said about this movie, it's gonna be I. Most certainly. Just see Chadwick Boseman that one last time. Just see him perform in this. Learn from this. It's really emotionally powerful. Just a great performance. Another movie you could see, I have done a review of this one as well, which is also from a play, One Night in Miami. It's very different from this movie, but because it's a play and it's a talkie movie, you should also go and see it. You can therefore, with that, if you take this movie, you can see the progression in the 20th century, or the lack thereof, with the oppression of Black America, and just learn from it. Please go watch these two movies, learn from it, take it in. They're just two fantastic movies to go and watch. So please check out my review of the One Night in Miami, and definitely watch this one too. Scottish word. I'm gonna go with one that around my way, up north in the Highlands, is one that we used all the time growing up. So I don't know if it crosses all of Scotland, but it's definitely an Aviemore word. So sound. So sound like, man, sound. That was sound. That's cool, basically, or awesome. So sound. So you use that in your daily life. Yeah. Sound, mate. Like it. Nae bad. Quality stuff, like. Sound. Wakanda forever.